Dear students, we are in the second part of the topic spina bifida. Therapeutic management of spina bifida is a multidisciplinary approach. No single physician can treat or not treat, I can say, you can ideally treat a child with spina bifida. So neurologist, neurology, department of neurology, neurosurgery, pediatrician, department of urology, urologists, help will be required care, orthopedicians, all kinds of rehabilitation experts, physical therapists, occupational therapists, social services, intensive nursing in many areas will be required. Goals of treatment in therapeutic management, if you take goals, the primary goal is prevention of infection. Early closure of the lesion within 72 hours prevents infection and trauma to exposed tissues and prevents further motor impairment. Early closure of the lesion within 72 hours, that is, it's within days has to be closed. Goal is satisfactory skin coverage of lesion. So if the skin coverage is lacking, that may happen in a very severe case. So coverage has to be done within 72 hours. Physical therapy for specific deformity is very has to be started, initiated from the early days itself. Physical therapy will aim to prevent joint contractures. So we already talked about the spasticity prevalent to joint contractures due to either due to flaccid or spastic paralysis. Correct the deformity, prevent skin breakdown, obtain best ambulatory functioning, whatever movement is possible by the child. You have to complementing that the therapy should further support any kind of movement possible. Management of genitourinary functions. Myelomeningocele is a common cause of neurogenic bladder, which leads to urinary system distress. Frequent urinary tract (UTI) means urinary tract infections, ureterohydronephrosis. So this is a kidney. It's involving the kidney. Hydronephrosis of the kidney will happen. Vesicoureteral reflux. So vesicoureteral reflux also will be seen. Renal insufficiency may be common. Urinary incontinence is common. Clean intermittent catheterization as a conservative to normal treatment, everyday treatment. Clean the intermittent catheterization, whichever usually catheter will be given, urinary catheter will be given for the child because of the severity. The child is having neurogenic bladder, so conservative management, daily hygiene, cleaning, hygiene, and a washing of the bladder has to be done. Vesicotomy, anterior wall of the bladder bought through abdominal wall to create stoma, may be done for bladder control. Vesicotomy, in which the anterior wall of the bladder brought through abdominal wall to create a stoma-like opening, may be done for the bladder control. Meticulous skin care is needed. In the sense, hard work has to be done to maintain the skin hygiene, which is very important. If not taken care, will lead to infection, further lead to all kinds of systemic infection, and most of the children may even it may affect them fatally. Latex allergy. The another problem is using latex gloves. With these children, this is very not possible. 70% of the children and adolescents with spina bifida are sensitive to latex. Most of the gloves, surgical gloves which you are using, are made of latex rubber. So this cannot be used. So you have to use a particular latex-free gloves for when taking care of patient, especially the urinary problem, that is urinary problem. Cause unknown. We still do not known because why there is a latex allergy, but probably due to continue, because commonly these children are exposed to continuous use of these kind of gloves, so that may be leading to some kind of immune response from the body. Avoid latex, balloons, condoms, catheters, or anything with latex in patients with spina bifida. So if I just briefly summarizing the physical therapy, ambulation, the most prominent factor found between other socio-economic and therapeutic factors, was the location of the malformation. Individuals who have a higher lesion in the thoracic and upper lumbar spine were more likely to be in wheelchairs. If you're seeing like a 10 to 15-year-old, you're going to seeing these children in wheelchairs. Earlier age, the parents may carry them. And because according to that, you will understand the thoracic and upper lumbar spine, they have lower limb paralysis. They cannot walk. Comparatively with those of lumbar spine and the sacral malformations, they will not have such problem, but they may walk with AFOs or KAFOs, along with some supportive devices such as crutches or elbow crutches. Maybe they can walk. So physical therapist has a major role to play here. Another important factor on an individual's walking ability is the use of assistive devices, whether it is braces, crutches, or walker. In order to promote walking capacity, an assistive device may be necessary. In order to properly prescribe exercise training, submaximal and maximal testing is necessary. Before prescribing an exercise, normally we know how to prescribe the exercise, the method of protocol of prescription of exercise, in which we will have to, before in spina bifida patients, before prescribing, you have to check for the tolerance testing and should be able to take submaximal as well as maximal cardiovascular test tolerance testing in order to prescribe exercise, which is really ideal. Research has shown that treadmill speed and 6-minute walk distance are the best ways for detecting change. However, heart rate and VO2 max, that is a volume of maximum oxygen at peak measures, are reliable ways to measure physiological output in ambulatory children with spina bifida, especially when combined with functional outcomes such as the treadmill speed and 6-minute walk distance. That is what we call a 6-minute walk test. There have been benefits shown in individuals with spina bifida that can be attributed to walking, such as urinary drainage. So when the walking improves, normally we'll see that I have seen in many cases that when the motor activity, that is skeletal motor activity of the lower limb or the other muscles, back muscles, are improving, so, generally the bowel and the peripheral circulation, the bladder functions are also seen to be improving. So that means you have to understand that when the change happens, it's a comprehensive change which is happening. The use of different assistive devices have been prescribed to individuals with spina bifida. A long-term study was done on the individuals that were given a Orlov Parawalker, a reciprocal walking orthosis. So there is a walker which is called as a Parawalker. Orlov is a reciprocal walking orthosis. Actually, it's a Parawalker. It's not a normal walker, in which here this walker, you can actually, the child's the trunk will be strapped to the walker and the hand will be placed in such a manner that the child can control the walker, and even the like a suspended, the child may be like half suspended. The weight of the body weight, maybe the trunk's weight may be borne by the walker. So these reciprocal walking orthoses are very useful for children's spina bifida. Based on past studies, the use of these orthoses were higher than the other aids such as conventional KAFOs that have been studied in the past. This study suggests that Orla Parawaka for children may increase their ability to ambulate, which can ultimately provide other benefits that are mentioned earlier. Other benefits are same thing, like the associated problems such as the bowel bladder control. No, that will also be improving. Now, the final thing to talk about is home care. So most of the children are, here the treatment, the parents have to be educated. The home care is very, very, very important. And usually the physiotherapist may visit the home also. And when the child's condition is better, the child may come to a normal, to the school, the special schools, or maybe the child may go to normal school because the if it all if it is a spina bifida without any arnold malformation or any hydrocephalus, then the intellectual capacity communication level will be very fine. In these cases, the home care as well as education of the parents are very, very important. So involve parents. So educate the parents, involve the parents in care. The parent Without the parents' support and without educating the parent, our physical therapy methods are not going to be succeeding. So physical therapists have a major role to play. So what and all area? Positioning, feeding. Positioning is very important for feeding. So first positioning for preventing. Why do we need position? To prevent any kind of further deformity. Positioning to, in such a way that activities can be promoted. Positioning in such a way that feeding can be promoted. Feeding is very much related. Good feeding methods are related to good positioning methods. Positioning is also related to skincare. So skincare is always related to positioning. Skincare is always also related to feeding. Good feeding technique, hygienic feeding technique is also related to skincare. Range of motion exercise will improve skincare. Range of motion exercise is also related to positioning. Clean catheterization when prescribed. That is, physiotherapist does not do that. So that has to be done by a nurse, and this has to be taught to the mother or father of the children. Usually the parents may learn to clean the catheter as well as, even what you could do is what you call as a bladder wash, washing the bladder in a weekly basis to prevent any infection inside the bladder. So frequent change of the catheter as per the advice of the doctor, and bladder washing procedures can be learned by the patient from a good nurse. Help with assistive devices if child. So physical therapist's main role is to go and assess the home condition of the child, maximize the ability of the patient to ambulate. So do all kind of ergonomic changes such as the height of the bed, the toilet, the movement, the area of movement, everything, whatever the child, especially we are talking about a child. So play, activity, utility table. If the child is interested in drawing, playing, or any kind of any devices, if in our modern days we are using all kind of smart devices. So all this can be promoted by the physical therapist, but the physical therapist have to give a good very what you call positive and futuristic idea, so that movement has to be promoted. No activity should be promoted in which movement is not allowed. So most of the activity should be, the child should not be become a sedentary child. We don't want the child to become a sedentary child sitting in one place and becoming an obese child. We don't want that. So promote activities, games, indoor games wherever possible, and incorporate the other siblings or any family members who are spending time with the child. That is very, very important. So long range futuristic planning of the child is very important. If you want any further idea of treating the child, just go to the Spina Bifida Association of America's website. You will have loads of information regarding, because this is actually a real life experiences shared by the parents, and what and all updates. Here today's class I'm just giving you the basics. So a lot of updates and advanced techniques can be also be used. Thank you.